bro. I just dropped the tape on every single streaming platform known to man. And you're telling me you haven't listened to it yet? Bro! Go in the description right now and bump my tape. Now on to the video. I figured it out. Prior to playing Tales of Arise, man, I kept wondering, why does everything about this game look so fire? And then while playing Tales of Arise, I kept thinking, why is this game so fire? These questions come from a complete lack of interest in Tales of Berseria after trying multiple times to play the game. But now, I come to you after 50 plus hours deep, with multiple days doing nothing but breathing and living Tales of Arise. With an answer, no. With a conclusion, it's the characters.
And I'm about to tell you why. We'll get some snacks, bruh. We better be here.
I hit this enlightening moment just recently. Back in April, we learned that Tales of Arise's theme is inheritance and evolution. That was one of two details that stuck with me from that video that I made back in April. The other is the idea that they worked to perfect the art direction for this game, with what they're calling their atmospheric shader, in order to ensure the world, down to each of the characters, have a look and feel consistent with this art style. And this took them 5 years to come up with what we see in Tales of Arise. It's the unique and different touch that they've added to Arise that not only allows us to stand out, but stand out in a good way. It's a game with familiar dynamics and structure to the Tales of franchise that has its own standalone feel and style, which gives it the status of GOAT. Tales of Arise is not far off from other Tales of games. But that's exactly what made me confused! This game has a similar feel to Tales of Berseria, which is the only other Tales of game that I've played that I didn't like. So why does this game hit so hard? It's not the graphics, it's not the gameplay, and contrary to what you might be thinking right now, it's not because of Kisara's massive oh my god! Although that is a welcomed addition. It's still just the characters. But let me expand, because all those other points are important, especially the last one. They just aren't as impactful to the experience as the characters are. Watch any of my videos around Tales of Arise prior to release, and all I'm talking about is how the two main characters had my attention, and that's really all it took for me to want to give the game a chance. And this is where I began to really think through my statement. What other games have a group-driven storytelling structure? Right? Persona, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, those are the ones that come to my mind immediately. And now, what do those series have in common? A distinct style with a decently sized main cast. Tales of has always had a distinct style. I think we can all agree on that. But it's that style that has been uninteresting to me ever since. Alright, bro. Right, like I'm looking at Berseria and I'll give it to Velvet. I like her character design. But as soon as I see everybody else in this party, you've lost me. Boring. And if we look at Vesperia, like I will say, okay, prior to Tales of Berseria, every other entry kind of looks like Vesperia, right? And so with that being said, I can tell you confidently that there is a very good reason why I have only recently been put onto the Tales of franchise. Because if I saw this box art in the store, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just being honest here. It's a pass for me. Throw any other Tales of game at me and my answer, just from looks, is gonna be a pass. But this is not me saying the games are bad, you know? It's just like, from what you're showing me up front, I'm not interested in learning if it's good or not. And that's essentially my point. These games heavily revolve around the main cast. Like, we have a 50-hour Tales of game. 30 hours of it might be them talking, as long as you watch all the skits. I might be over-exaggerating, but you get the point. So it's like, while the gameplay, the world, and that, you know, area below your back is definitely important. If you're uninterested by the main cast, you're either going to power through it because you just love every other part about the game, or you'll fall off due to a lack of interest. Your interest in the cast can either smoothen the experience or destroy it. But with that being said, I kind of just said it, but the cast is not the end-all be-all. But at the end of the day, if you walk into a Tales of game intrigued by the main characters, I think your chance of enjoying the experience from top to bottom is extremely high, at least higher than someone who doesn't. If the Tales of Arise's storytelling structure is similar to other entries, which from what I played of Berseria, it really feels like it is, then my statement is even more true. Because that would mean these games similarly all take time for everything to make sense. So you gotta be okay and enjoy the process of getting to that point, or else it's just a drag. Before the plot thickens, are the characters thick? Speaking of Tales of Arise specifically, right, I was drawn in by the main characters, and then I stayed for the story, gameplay, and Kisara's butt. In that order. I've been addicted to every single skit. I've been interested in every single after meal conversation. And most importantly, I've been mesmerized by Kisara's massive cheeks to the point where I don't want to use anyone else but...
Enough! Can y'all two stop with the jokes? Y'all are horny. Tired of this childish shit, man.
Honestly, bruh, the story in Tales of Arise is so good to me, and I don't have much to say without getting into specifics. And it's like, since I've never truly played a Tales of game, I'm just enjoying the way it's being told. It feels different than my usual games that I play. This cast specifically, the different backgrounds that they're coming from, and that specific sort of tension that it brings to the game is just very, very enjoyable to play through, you know? It's this group struggling towards a similar goal while having different and clashing personalities. A story of overcoming your past as a divided team with a singular dream. Man, I should write a book. Bro, I'm telling y'all, some people or things just can't be trusted. Y'all gotta watch your back out here. Like, I typically like demos, but they be lying and shit. I do believe that demos are a great way to get a feel for the game before it releases, but many times it's an older build. Rarely is it ever a like newish build. It's funny though, because every issue that I had with the combat specifically progressively went away as I played more. There's a number of reasons why, but if I'm being brutally honest, it's all connected to the interest in the main cast. They just made me not care. I wasn't kidding when I said the characters are everything, man, because like I could literally leave it at that. Like, we could be done with this part of the video. But I'll get into it just for y'all. Just for you guys. Overall, the combat is very smooth. It gives you the freedom to spam, but spamming comes with repercussions, so you'll quickly stop that habit and learn the mechanics. I'm telling y'all, the open world encounters, open world fights, they never get old. Like, it's crazy. You're stringing together your arts, you're mixing in the boost attacks, and then letting off, what is it, boost strikes? I'm not even sure of all the names of the moves, bro. It don't matter, they're all fire. It feels like once you master one part of the combat, you begin to learn new tricks that were, only briefly explained in the past, and now you're looking forward to more fights so you can try these new moves out. At all times, I had this feeling of I can do better in my next battle. And this goes for every character. Through the progression of the game and my party gradually expanding, then I'm learning about their origins, learning about the character themselves, that made me interested in them, and I ended up switching between everybody, bro, consistently my whole playthrough. And this is key because it kept a fresh feel to the combat. What is that? I'm getting bored using Alphen, and let's just use Kisara and try out all these new arts that I learned, and since I haven't played her last. The speed, the efficiency, bro, of everything in this game makes for this pacing that is just extremely satisfying. Battles end swiftly, which makes grinding one of the least stressful things I've ever experienced in a JRPG, at least recently. And when I think back to other arena-based combats, that transition between fight and then back to open world tends to dampen the experience. But in Arise, it all happens so fast to where it flows almost perfectly.
Most notably, boost strike animations are cool, they're crazy, and they're flashy. Not a single frame is wasted. A part of you honestly might be irritated by that. Like, it goes by so fast and it's so cool that you wish it stayed a little bit longer. But the game is like perfectly balanced in the sense that as time goes on, you're using these moves so often that the speed doesn't even matter anymore. Right? And now, rather than being irritated, you're appreciative. Because if they were longer, it would destroy the pace of the game. And now that you've seen it so many times, you're used to it and you've seen everything. You know, you've studied each frame by now. So it brings us to this equilibrium point. Beautiful animations that happen often, but are swift enough to not break immersion or cause annoyance because they're so unintrusive. Oh my God.
When I say progressive perfection, right, I'm talking about 20-hour jam complaining that moderate and hard mode is like a fake difficulty. We've talked about this before. All it is more health bars, right? It's not actually harder. But through this mysterious PP, and I'm not talking about the thing down there, we have 40-hour jam deciding to backtrack the whole game and do every single side quest because A, your boy was broke and under leveled. I needed some freaking levels and I needed some money. But more importantly, okay, B, I just wanted to fight. I was having fun. The bulky health bars stopped phasing me. It's insane. But if we're on the topic of gameplay, boss fights are a separate topic because they are very important.
Again, PP is present here. Early game, really until the third main boss fight, I had two modes. First was relax mode. This was me throughout the story, you know, exploration parts, really everything outside of the boss fights. This is my exploration vibe, you feel me, man? You know, I was just chilling. And then we have the, what's that? Boss is coming up mode? And this was my serious vibe. We're not playing games anymore at this point. If you treat the boss fights like your open world encounters, you're in for a rude awakening. Initially, I had some complaints about this. The second main boss fight, specifically in this game, is unbelievably broken. He's cheating or something. Playing on moderate, I think I died 6 to like anywhere from 100 till I stopped being stubborn and grinded a little bit, which really just resulted in me barely winning. Low key, but guys, boys, I literally cheesed it. But as time went on, I changed my thought process. The third or fourth boss, I can't even really remember, was the catalyst for this little character development of mine, though. I was getting so close, but to the same point every time. And again, this is while I was being a dunce and trying to play the same way I did during open world encounters. But the biggest issue, and the main reason why I was losing, was due to poor item management. And so with that being said, there are two important things to know about Tales of Arise's combat gameplay. One, healing moves in this game are the only element dictated by that typical MP meter. In Tales of Arise, it's referred to as CP, and honestly, this is interesting. It's a shared value among your entire party. And number two, synonymous with the game's narrative, where we're slaves fighting our oppressors, most of the time you're gonna be broke. So the items that you find in the world are scarce, making them crucial. And proper usage will take you a long way. So when it comes to me, I was fighting like an idiot and I was wasting my items so fast and I would end up with no CP or items, resulting in my F. Pathetic. And again, it was the third, fourth fight that taught me to stop being an imbecile, respect, should I say, the difference between open world encounters and boss fights, and act accordingly. Once I played more strategically in boss fights, I found more success and took less else. And I don't know, bro, the second boss might have just been stronger than the rest. That shit was crazy. Long story short, the boss fights might be 1 to 2 steps higher in difficulty, or just change, you need a different strategy than the open world fights, and that abrupt change takes a second to get used to. But I can still see outside of that where people would have some problems with boss fights, and overall, I would say that's probably the biggest area that you might hear complaints. For me though, again, outside of the second boss fight, I became content with it and I started enjoying it. Brought to you by the bag.
Yes, sir.
What the
Psych! In this day and age, DLC is no surprise. But when there's 10 plus items available for additional purchase on day one, I'm gonna comment on it. Like, I'm all for extra costumes being available as DLC. I think they're the most unintrusive piece of DLC. But I'm also a drip connoisseur. And so when my practice is heavily affected by a paywall,
It makes me sad.
why are we buying levels, guys? Like, what's going on? Thinking back to my experience so far, bro, I can 1000% see someone actually buying it. Because like a normal playthrough with minimal grinding is gonna sit you around 1 to 3 levels below like a boss and really enemies everywhere. So it's like, I could just see you open the home screen and just having at it. But coming back to the outfits, these sort of games typically have minimal customization options, so I was prepared. You know, and so again, DLC outfits aren't all that bad. It kind of helps me. I like it. And also, man, I gotta mention this. The way that you unlocked the cosmetics in the game was really interesting. I liked it. But just so we're clear, anything that I got for free was basically weird add-ons like cat ears and all that kind of... I don't know what's going on. Outside of that, it would be just color variations of the default outfits that we get just by playing the game. So yes, the cool outfits were all paid.
I just cannot get over yet another SAO collab. Do you know how many games have a random SAO collab? Too many.
When I talk extensively about games like this, I usually keep the last section for miscellaneous areas or features that aren't that impactful on your experience, but they're still cool to mention. But it's so weird, man. Thinking of Tales of Arise, there's really just not even much outside of the base game and the story. Overall, it's just been 100% gameplay and story focused, while also spending a weird amount of time fishing. It's funny because I didn't fish in the demo. I honestly didn't even know you could because I didn't see the option. I didn't get the option. But ever since my boy Yaya was praising and hyping up the fishing, it was on my mind. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? And then Genshin Impact recently added fishing, so overall it was just in my head. But then Yaya's hyping it up confused me. So ultimately he made and raised the bar. I had very high expectations about when I was gonna be able to try it out in the full game. And it took so long to unlock this feature that I thought I missed it. And I didn't actually care. I'm like, you know what, whatever. It's probably not that cool. And then I finally was able to get, fish. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this shit.
That boy Yaya was not lying, bro.
Yup. Here we go. Alright, let's get it. R1, yup. R1 again, yup. Come on, baby. R1. Yes! Let's go!
Honestly, that's like everything I had to say. Nowadays, I'm more aware of the videos I'm making, and it's always weird whenever a video about a game is all positive. But that's just the way it is. And like I said, the main cast and my interest in the cast, and I guess the story as well, washed away any problems, issues that kind of came up. Mainly because none of them were that bad, right? And so it's like one of these things where I'm just content with the direction the devs wanted to take this game, right? It's fun, it feels good to play, and I just can't complain past that. I'm pretty sure I'm almost done. I think I'm at like the last dungeon per se. I have no idea. For all you care, maybe some more shit pops off. But either way, it's been progressing smoothly, and I tweeted about it the other day. Like, as I play it more, it gets better and better. There has not been any slow points, any bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just been good all around. And I can't get over how, like, Berseria, you know what I'm saying, just put this taste in my mouth. But the whole time I'm like, you know what, as I was getting the feel of Tales of the style, I'm like, nah, I think I could like this series. This one just ain't for me. But enlighten me, bro. Tales of Veterans. I watched a couple reviews so far. Most have been positive. I want to know what's bad. What do y'all not like about this game? That's what the comments should be. Tell me what you don't like, because I'm saying everything good. Other than that, boys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. I was about to say, I was about to do my whole thing. Other than that, I'm Jimmy Neutron. Think.